Hello there. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly, and tonight we're continuing on in our Gnomes for Summer series. We're going to create a simple layout design to tell a simple story. Earlier in the week, we used larger Cricut elements to personalize the story and the page to match the photos. So this was a story about my grandchildren running through the sprinkler, and we used a large sprinkler and hose Cricut element to tell that story. Last week, we used a blotch background, some basic strips, a couple large Cricut elements, and a couple of those cute little summer gnomes to tell the story about Ramsey Kate at the lake. We're continuing on with the Summer Gnomes Scrapbooking Workshop Kit, and linked here and in the description is all of the details from layout number 1 that show all of the parts and pieces that we've created with that kit. Tonight we're telling a simple story about a simple guy, my son Zachary. Here he is pictured with his wife MJ. There's a picture with myself and Zachary driving the boat, and I believe he's doing a kneeboard trick in that last photo. We just got back from our annual boating and camping weekend. Our entire family, all of our kids and grandkids and ourselves, go boating once a year at the end of July. Now, I wanted to tell a simple story, so I'm reaching back into my old catalogs, and I really liked this layout with the basic strips across horizontally on the left page, vertically on the right page, and then there's a couple different elements, and I thought that would work perfect for an intro into our boating weekend. I have tons of kneeboarding, jet skiing, skiing, tubing that I'm going to use the Lake Life collection for, but this one I thought was perfect because of Zachary's red boat, and it's just a little intro into Zachary. So what we have here is we have 2 Journey cardstock backgrounds with 11.5 by 11.5 inch white as an inset, and then I'm using a couple Journey pieces here that are 2 by 9, and then an interior piece that we're going to use with the crisscross design, which is 6 by 10. And we're going to just lay those on top of each other and center those. I'm not going to put those down just yet because I'm trying to decide on a layered element. I love this multi-stripe, and in the original you can see that it's just 10 inches, and so I've created that at 2.5 by, actually it's still 12 because I'm trying to decide if I want it to overlap the crisscross or be just 10 inches inside the crisscross. So for the photo of Zachary driving the boat, I have a 5 by 7 photo with an 1/8 inch white border, and then another 1/8 inch larger Journey photo mat, and then a larger Lagoon mat. So I have quite a few layers on that. But let's go ahead before we decide, and let's create the pieces for the right page. So all of these pieces are 3 by 10. So we have 2 Journey 3 by 10, a crisscross 3 by 10, and then we have a Lagoon 1/2 by 10 and a Glacier 1/2 by 10. Now we're going to do a little bit of treatment on those with the white gel pen. This one is also going to have a striped strip, but this strip is only 1.5 inches, and I'm just going to decide how long that is a little later. So I have a 0.10 white gel pen, and I'm actually just going to use my ruler and my Versamat and draw lines on the upper edge and the right side and left side of that top Journey piece. Then I'm going to put those lines on the opposite way on the bottom Journey piece. And then for the right page, we're going to create those lines on the top, bottom, and left on the left journey piece, on the top, bottom, and right on the right journey piece. So I can do some of that off camera, but you can see here how I'm just adding those dashed lines for a very simple added element. This is going to be such a simple page. It's really kind of a simply scrapping page, but there is a little bit of stamping, and I usually don't do stamping on my simply scrapping pages, but the stamping is basic, so I think a beginning scrapbooker would find this easy enough to put together. There are some Cricut elements that could be substituted with some sticker elements if you aren't versed in the Cricut. So I do decide to go ahead and cut down that striped piece to 10 inches so that it lays just on the inset of that 6 by 10 inch crisscross piece. So I did a little folding and snipping to create a dovetail, and now I'm showing another way to create a dovetail by folding that back and using it as a pattern on the other end. So while I'm doing the dovetail, let's go over again the layers on the 5 by 7 photo mat. So we have a 5 by 7 photo, a 5 1/8 by 7 1/8 white, a 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 journey, and then a 5 1/2 by 7 1/2 lagoon, just to be very clear on that. And we're going to go ahead, I'm just remeasuring these pieces so I know how to center them. Because we have the those shorter pieces up at the top, we're actually going to put those about 1.5 inches from the edge of the journey, and then the top is just going to be about 1 inch. So we're going to go 1 inch from the top of the journey piece, 1.5 inches from the left and from the right, and that will be our anchor piece, and all the pieces below it will be flush. So we're going to put the crisscross journey piece from the Gnomes for Summer flush against that, and then the bottom journey piece flush against that, and it's going to be such a simple and easy background. And then once we layer that 5 by 7 with the photo mats on it, we're practically done. We're going to add a couple larger elements. One is a thin cut element and one is a Cricut element, and we'll do a little stamping for the title, but that is really the base of the layout. Zachary is a simple guy, and he's very kind, he's very patient, and when he goes out on the boat, so usually my husband sometimes will take his boat, but not very often. He usually leaves that up to the grown boys, and so my son-in-law and daughter have a boat, and then my son Zachary and his wife have a boat. Now I'm actually just making a 1/4 inch strip here in Glacier. It's going to be 10 inches, but then we're going to cut it on a diagonal so that it fits across the bottom of that striped piece. And I crunkled it up a little bit on the right side, but it won't matter because it's going to be trimmed to 10 inches. So we have 1/4 by 10 inch Glacier. And then we're just going to layer that on the bottom of the stripe and then snip along that dovetail to make a little, it's kind of a little bit of a play on the strips that are over on the right page, sort of pulling elements like what we do to one page, we do to another. So we have some white gel pen on the left, so we're going to do white gel pen on the right. We have some strips on the right, so we're going to have a couple spots where we have strips on the left, and so on and so forth. But Zachary spends the entire time pulling around all of the kids and grandkids. He'll pull around all of the other adult children. He'll pull around my husband if my husband is skiing. He'll pull around all of the grandkids. And our grandkids range in age from 2 to 19. There are 8 of them, and it takes a long time and a lot of patience to give everyone a turn on the tube, to give everyone a turn on the knee board, to give everyone a turn on the wakeboard, to give everyone a turn on the skis, to give everyone a turn on the little tube, and to give everyone a turn on the big tube. and to have patience when they want to diverge and they want to fish or they want to swim. And we usually have the boats kind of together but yet separate, and where my son-in-law is amazing, as well as is my daughter-in-law and my daughter. And our oldest son does not have a boat, but his kids definitely love to do all of the water sports as well, and so does he. And so it's just like the patience that it takes to get everyone to have a turn. And some of the grandkids are just learning, and it takes them a while to get up on the skis. They have to practice, and then also the patience of knowing how some of the kids like to go really fast, some of the kids like to go really, really slow, and some of the kids like to have an adult with them, and some of the kids like to do it all by themselves. And so getting all of that coordinated is amazing, and Zachary does it with a smile. He gets great joy in seeing everyone else have fun, and then he takes his turns too, and he's pretty amazing at recreational sports. So as you can see, I've just used my straight ruler here to get that straight at the top. Again, it's 1 inch. All the strips are 1 inch from the top, and on this one, from the top of the journey, and on this one they're about a 1/2 inch in on either side from the journey. And I like to put the left edges down first and then center the center pieces, because that way if it's off just a little bit, I can get those strips just so. I end up cutting the stripe strip here, that is the 1.5 inch strip, to 10 inches as well. And 10 inches underneath those photos is going to work perfectly. Again, I'm going to dovetail both of those edges. You can dovetail by cutting a 1/2 inch in the center and then cutting up on a diagonal. You can dovetail by folding the pieces together. Like if your paper is on the grain and it bends easily, it's easy to cut it the way that I did when you're just folding it and cutting it on a diagonal. If you feel like you're going against the grain on your paper and you're going to make a crease that you don't want in your paper, you probably want to use the snipping method of dovetailing. Anyway, I am always so proud of Zachary. He is 6'7", and so a lot of times when he was growing up, he got a lot of pressure from coaches and from other people in organized sports to do basketball for sure. And it just wasn't his thing. He got so tall so fast. So he probably had a stage where his legs were literally like up to my neck. I'm only 5'7" and he's 6'7". So that gives you an idea of how tall he is compared to me. And so recreational sports became his thing, and he very much grew into them. So now I have this Cricut umbrella. I made this umbrella on the Cricut, and I really wanted to pull in some of that journey color. Even though Zachary's boat is bright red, I think we can pull off the rosy color. Did I say journey? I meant to say rosy. So rosy is more, it's kind of a cross between raspberry and red. It's has more of a pink tone, but I think in the photos we can totally pull off rosy with Zachary's red boat. Because there's red on the right page, I felt like we needed to have a little bit of that rosy on the upper left to tie that rosy color together. Now, I'm struggling a little bit with the title. So I didn't really want to go with Paradise, because that's a journey title, and we've got a lot of blues in here and it doesn't really pop. I didn't really want to add the orange title because we don't have a lot of orange in these photos, and I didn't really want to go with the large sort of lemonade Sundance title. I just kind of thought maybe it would be really nice if I would be able to stamp on the bottom. And all of the titles from the Summer Gnomes set, Scrapbooking Stampin' Thin Cut set, would work in terms of size, but I'm not really getting a good tone even when I do black or journey on journey. It just doesn't pop. So what I decide to do is actually pull in some white and add a little white on the edge. It's 1 3/4 by 8 1/2. and just insetting that inside the journey. I still want the dotted lines to show that we made with the white gel pen, but I also wanted to add a little bit of distress stamping. So on the first two layouts in this journey series, we used the Art of Texture stamp, different stamps, and I thought doing a second generation journey stamp with this wave looking stamp and then stamping Lazy Days over the top. Now what I did is I did a little stamp surgery. I cut Of Summer off of Lazy Days carefully with my microtip scissors. So the stamp originally said Lazy Days of Summer. Now you could mask off summer, but Of Summer was kind of embedded into Lazy Days. So I found it easier to snip it apart, and our acrylic stamps are so easy to connect back to each other. If you ever wanted to put it back together, you would be able to seamlessly stamp with that. You do need to cut carefully so you don't cut into letters. Now I'm using a blending brush and a little lemonade and just pulling in another color to help make that title pop. Now I think that title pops so much more than stamping tone on tone. I wasn't getting the pop of the title stamping Lazy Days in Journey on top of Journey. Now I'm loving that. I think I'd like to pop up this Taking It Easy arrow stamp underneath the umbrella to add a little bit of interest up there. Of course, we're going to do some journaling, and of course, we're going to do some adding of some embellishments from those paper embellishments, as well as some stickers from the sticker sheet. So I'm keeping this simple. I'm not going to over decorate these pages. Zachary is simple. It's a simple story. I just wanted to document how Zachary always makes sure that everyone has so much fun. He spends hours and hours pulling everyone around on the tubes, the skis, the knee boards, the floaties. He's patient and he's kind, and he was born to be a water baby. So recreational sports, Zachary loves snowboarding. He is a very good snowboarder and he loves to snowboard. He loves every kind of water sports. He likes to ski, he likes to kneeboard, he likes to wakeboard, he likes to tube, he loves everything on the water, and he's very good at them. And I have some later pages that I'm going to do on Lake Live documenting all of his little crazy stunts, turning around on the skis and turning around on the wakeboard and the kneeboard and doing little flips and different things like that. But I've actually pulled in these everyday details dies just to make a little journaling. So I used the medium size one, and I actually liked the negative space. So I did the medium size circle, Spotlight on Nature, die cut that out. Then I did a 3-inch circle die around the outer edge of that, and then backed it with a white 3-inch circle so that I could journal on that. I love that pop then down by Lazy Days. It doesn't make it seem like a long empty space on the bottom, but it makes it seem symmetrical. I didn't really want to cut the white off and have a short title with the journey showing through on the other side, and I wanted to show off some of that distress stamping, so having that rosy circle there with the journaling is perfect. Now we can add the cool little gnome over on the right-hand side. He has a raspberry hat, Lagoon glasses. He has a light peach background and Rosy, and a rosy glass, rosy flip-flops, and then a Lagoon umbrella in his umbrella drink. Now what we do to one, we want to do to the other. So I've added that distress stamping again with that Art of Texture stamp up in the right-hand corner, added a heart sticker and the bliss sticker, which I think will be just perfect, and I'm almost getting happy. It seems a little simple compared to some of the layouts that I do, but I think it's perfect. I think it's just enough. I don't want to go overboard for this theme. Zachary's a simple guy. It's a simple story, and I think it's just enough. So I'm adding some of those paperboard stars and paperboard shells It is the Journey Glitter Paper paperboard, and I have a couple in each of the different areas. So now I feel like we have color balance, we have a visual triangle, we have our journaling to tell our story, we've done a little stamping, we've done a little gel pen, and we have a very simple background to tell the story about what a great, wonderful uncle, son, brother-in-law Zachary is to haul us all around the lake and make sure that we have great fun. Thanks so much for watching. Shoot me a comment. Bye-bye.